once the dust is settled on information that's just been dropped by Need for Speed, I always like to make these videos talking about things I may have missed or things that were released afterwards that I didn't see, and let's get into it. In the trailer I showed there were a few gameplay clips missing. You can see some of those here, and honestly, they look absolutely fantastic. I haven't seen this gameplay before. This is brand new gameplay we haven't seen before, looking more and more like a finished product every day, and you'd imagine so because right now we're pretty close to November. Time's ticking, Ghost, time's ticking. There were also a couple of screenshots I missed out on. For example, the blue tire smoke, which if you didn't know is a pre-order bonus, as it's been mentioned many times before. Pre-order and you'll get the blue tire smoke. And there's also a picture of colored nitrous, which we didn't actually see in the previous. So you may have seen the Jaguar picture with this pop. Well, this is this one, and it's a little bit different. It's just nice. And also not to mention the fact that that's a classic Dodge Charger, Camaro, and Charger. We're gonna do, it's gonna happen. Something that I was oblivious to, which I didn't even realize, the F-Type picture right here, well, it has underglow on it. I didn't realize until someone pointed it out to me over on Twitter, and also I would like to have an honorable mention of the fact that the yellow lights actually display a yellow lighting on the floor. I thought it would be like slightly tinted, but that looks like a very good yellow, so you could literally color your car how it's some absolute monsters. For example, you could have like a blue car with blue lights, maybe a blue tire smoke, blue neons, blue everything. It's gonna be cool. I quite like this idea. Another article dropped, which is to do with car classes. Now, we know a little bit about the car classes already, but we never really got full detail on a few of them, so it's been a long time coming, but let's jump into it. Now, first off, there is a race class car. Now, race is, as you can imagine, race. Now, this is actually something I've played with in the past, and we played with Porsches, I believe, which are very well-balanced cars, as you know, and it was possible to get that car to not drift. A setting would make that thing, you would not have to drift. Now, I'm hoping to see that that's still the case in the game when I play it during Gamescom, because I'll be at Gamescom this year playing Need for Speed Payback, but this is the class I'm most intrigued on because of the fact, well, not most intrigued, but most interested in, because we know that this is the car class that's probably going to be used the most. As for off-roading, you've seen some of the off-road monsters that appear. They're bloody ridiculous, honestly. It's mainly the super builds that you've seen from the Derelicts cars. Well, there's also obviously the fact to just bump up any random car, any normal car into an off-road car if it's available to do so. Off-road cars are obviously going to be good at off-roading. It'll be cool to see how they do on-road and how normal road cars will do off-road. Even though from what I played, the on-road cars going off-road very much slowed down, which is good. Possibly one of my favorite ones is drag class, because it wasn't in the last game. There was drag racing in the game, but there wasn't any specific cars. You had to make your street racing car into a drag car. Well, now there's drag cars, and they show wheelies every screenshot and clip they bloody can, because why would you not? If they've got that and other games are like, people are trying to do it in other games, they're going to show it. These are focused on top speed, but one thing I wanted to point out is on this picture right here, is that a special barrier, or is that just part of the world? I'm wondering, maybe does it lock a street down, for example, barriers and all, so it's just two cars dragging. That would be sick. Drift class car, I don't really need to talk about. And probably the most intriguing one is the runner class. So this class of car is I would assume it's similar to race in how it drives and feels, because race is kind of the baseline, but it'll probably feel a little bit heavier, but at the same time also pretty nimble and quick, because it does mention the fact that this thing is very nimble, very direct to where it goes and where you point it to. These cars are usually stealthed out, though. They're fully black, you know, with black windows, black wheels, black paint, all that kind of jazz. No plate as well, which I thought was quite interesting. I would imagine they feel quite heavy for when impacting, maybe against roadblocks or something. Little cool features like that. It would be very useful for someone that, say, would have an advantage if they were in that type of vehicle, if they were in a police chase. I think that would be brilliant, right? Just a bit of a heavier car, but also much more nimble. Maybe it's not as fast as a normal race car, because obviously the race car would be the focus of racing, whereas that car would be focused on maybe getting away, as I said, stealthy. Now, speaking of cops, how about cop events? Now, this screenshot was actually in the trailer. From what it seems, maybe this is something to do with a police event. It's pretty much screaming police event of some kind. Now, does that mean we're going to play as the police? No, that's just not going to be a thing. I imagine what it is a police event, as in the police are chasing you in that event, almost like a hot pursuit, but it's only one way that way, as in you can only be chased. So it's quite interesting to see that there's actually cop based events. I don't know much more about it because we haven't tried anything to do with that. I'm intrigued about it, and hopefully we'll hear something about it at Gamescom. If not, please do it soon. There's a short clip of some race gameplay available in the video, and in this, there's some AI drivers. Now, the AI drivers I noticed, one of them was called Razorback. Now, some people told me to point this out, and I get it. Like, they couldn't just sit down and be like, think of some AI names and put Razorback for the fun of it. Surely there's some kind of link there, something going on. I'm not too sure what they decided. Like, it can't have just gone over someone's head and picked it, because they did have Gearbox, which I thought would maybe have been a play on Black Box, but it's not. If it was a color, then I don't know exactly what's going on, but there is a possible hint of something to do with Razor. And if so, how amazing would that be? Like, the game's already fantastic and is aiming in the direction of what those games classically did. What could they be doing if that is true? One of my favorite shots from the actual trailer is this one right here. We get a good shot, and the trailer's in 4K as well, so we can zoom in and it doesn't look awful. This actually shows us a brilliant shot of a few things. Now, this bridge, I hope you could fall off it, right? Or push someone else off it. That would be great. But I'm hoping maybe it doesn't crash out if you do, and you just drop down and you land in this desert area right here. There's like desert area. It's like an off-roady area. There's many areas on the game, but this area seems like a playground. It's an absolute perfect playground, because this off-road area looks like you can just do massive donuts, or like an 8-tracky style thing, just prat about off-road. And then if you look, there's also the mountains in the distance. So these mountains look like drift heaven, may I say, which is awesome, because in the last game there were some drifting roads. It felt like a completely different area without anything in between. It felt very much like the city and then the mountains. This seems much more like there's the big kind of mountainy drifty area, and then there's the off-road area next to it, which fits perfectly. It feels much more living, I guess. Mention some cars that I did miss from the trailer. There's a Porsche here, and this Porsche, I don't even want to point out what type of Porsche it is, because it was in the last game, I believe. What I do want to point out is that front wheel. Look at that. Now, is that camber and turning, or is it camber turning and maybe the car being pushed to the side and like leaning out so the wheel just comes out? Like, I think that's physics in motion there, and that's scrumptious. And then there's a mention of a Civic, as you can probably see. It's a Civic. Oh, and the C7 Corvette, but I was silly and missed it. But wham bam, thank you, Ghost Games, for this amazing information. Got a bit more information on Payback. This, I think, is a lot of information. Like, they gave it out all at once. They just went full in, and I expect to hear so much more at Gamescom, because this game has so much to offer. As you can tell, they're absolutely throwing the quality and the content into this game for what people have requested over the last game and the last game and the last game, and probably years of requests have been thrown into this game, and it's looking like one of the most polished Need for Speeds in years. I'd absolutely love to know your guys' thoughts on everything I mentioned today. Again, if there's anything you think I did miss, make sure to let me know, but I won't be able to make a video on it until the end of my trip to America. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, smash like, subscribe if you are new, and buy my shirts, please. Peace.